me why all these highs.
Here's the news. The news is that the WNBA is looking to expand from 12 to 16 teams by 2028.
Yeah.
Now, reportedly, they've confirmed already. That means they want 4 more teams, right? At least 4 teams. They've reportedly already confirmed they're going to be adding a Golden State team in San Francisco.
I saw that. I saw that.
They're going to call them the Valkyries. From Golden State and San Francisco. They're going to be starting next season. And do you know how that works as far as the expansion draft?
No.
This new teams end up getting their players through what's called an expansion draft. They'll have an expansion draft before the actual draft. They'll have it around the same time during the off season, is what you know for sure. And what happens is normally every team in the league has a certain amount of players they can protect. I know in the NBA, in a 15-man roster, there's 8 players you can protect. And everybody else is up for the expansion draft. And so they'll have a draft where that team has its choice of everybody that's not protected as long as they fit under the salary cap.
I did not know that. You're bringing new news to me because I never knew that. That's pretty cool, though.
I played a lot of 2K back in the day. I still do, actually. So.
Hey, I was going to say some of the cities they were including was Philly, Toronto, Portland, Denver, Nashville, and South Florida.
Yeah, I saw that South Florida nonsense. What does that mean?
South
is it
Florida.
Tampa Bay? It's obviously somewhere along the coast. Is it Tampa Bay? Is it Miami?
Yeah.
Why did they give us cities and then they say South Florida? It's Commissioner Kathy Engelberg. Yeah. She said it.
Miss Engelberg.
Yeah. She said it though. Yeah. She said that those were the cities that they had been talking to. But she also mentioned in the press conference that 2 more cities or representatives for buyer groups from 2 different cities had also tried to throw their ring in the hat.
Yeah.
Or their hat in the ring.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering how that's going. She didn't really say who it was, but she did say that they wasn't considering them at first.
Hey, Tillman, what you doing out there, baby? You plotting?
Let's talk about Tillman because I got a quote from Tillman Fertitta. Tillman Fertitta believed that the league would excel if a team was in Houston. And he believes that if a team's in Houston, he's the, quote, natural owner of it.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
That's the man around these parts.
Yeah. If we want to talk about who king in Houston, it's obviously the billionaire Tillman Fertitta.
Yeah. But I think he's right though, man. Come on now. What you said? They're expanding.
There's some tones to that, but when you look at the bigger picture, I believe that Tillman Fertitta, who whatever buyers group wanted to purchase them, they would eventually have to outbid him anyways, which means that whatever group wants to start this expansion team, they're going to have to include Tillman Fertitta or risk being outbid by Tillman Fertitta.
He's going to be in that circle, but I think it would be cool to get a collective people of some H-Town folk that's holding it down.
When we talk about H-Town folk that's holding it down, there was a tweet that rumored Travis Scott might be interested in being a part of that buyers group.
That's a good look.
Trav
got the bread.
He do. I mean, he don't got Tillman Fertitta bread, but you want to assume he got enough bread to bring the Comets back. You remember that little flip line? Might buy the Rockets.
Yeah.
Might buy the Comets. Name it, I done it.
Yeah.
You see it, you want it. Talking about it. Might buy the Comets.
I mean, I think it's a good look. The Comets did well when they were here.
That's it. It almost seemed like, you notice in these cities that we talking about, they didn't mention Houston.
That's what I'm saying. South Florida over H-Town?
Even though there's been interest, there's even rumors that Beyonce Carter would also be a part of a buyer's group.
That would be a great option.
That's why there's interest. Now, the Comets are the most, what's the word I'm looking for? Successful.
Yes.
That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, exactly.
The Comets are the most successful WNBA franchise of all time, so this is almost like a no-brainer. Let me give you a number here. From the year 1997 to 2002, the Comets averaged a league-high 11,442 fans per game.
We filling seats.
That was, and I'm talking about, that was the league high for, what is this, a 5-year period?
Yep.
That's what I'm saying. I don't see how they could just ignore that. The Comets should have been the first. Houston should have been the first on the list because in business, we talk about proven models. Like, I watch a lot of Shark Tank, and one of the questions they ask all the time is, "How do you know it's gonna work?" If it's already working, that's how you answer that. 100%. What we have here is evidence that Houston will support a team, especially a successful team. Now,
they wanted 4 teams to add. We've won 4 consecutive championships.
4
consecutively.
Nobody's done that since. I don't know that anybody ever did that before.
Nah.
Nobody's definitely done that since. So it's almost like a no-brainer, but we don't seem to be on the list.
I think we get a lot of hate, man. We've been saying it for H-Town Sports for a long time. We don't get we just not getting the primetime games for the Texans.
I think it depends on. I'm gonna say. Let me throw something else at you. I think that, and this is a question: could the WNBA be hesitant to put a team in Houston in an attempt to be selective about ownership? Because when I was reading about what actually happened to the Comets was successful under team owner Les Alexander, who also owned the Rockets before selling them to Tillman Fertitta. They were successful under Les Alexander. Big time Houston fan. I loved him as an owner of those franchises. But then it was sold. In 2007, it was sold by Les Alexander to furniture mogul Hilton Koch. And Hilton Koch was a successful businessman, but that didn't translate to the WNBA. That didn't translate to sports. At the end of that season and the season after that, both seasons they lost around $4 million. And so from what I understand, the league has been losing money anyways since its start.
I read that too. I was gonna say he bought it. I thought it was kind of crazy. When I saw 10 mil, I was like, 10 mil. It seemed that's a lot of money, but for a franchise, it was like, he only gave him only 10 mil. You know what I'm saying? But it's crazy because 10 mil, and I think you said 2007.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean he forfeited in 2008. Said, "Hey, we done. We can't do it no more."
So what happened? It looked like the league was getting frustrated with him because after the team was sold, that margin that they were losing money by ended up expanding dramatically. Apparently, that $4 million was a lot to be losing from just one team, right?
Yeah.
And so he decided he was gonna sell it. That or the league was gonna make him sell it because they thought the ownership was poor anyways. So either he was forced to sell it or he had decided to sell it. I couldn't find out what was the real answer, but they ended up not being able to find a buyers group with a deal to start the 2008-2009 season, and because they couldn't reach that deadline, they went ahead and disbanded the team because they didn't have a buyer that was ready to purchase them.
That's crazy, man. Business is so fast, so cutthroat.
Well, it lends itself to the WNBA. The commissioner, Miss Engelbert, she might actually be trying to be selective about the owners that she allows into the league because under that ownership, it might not have been successful. On the flip side, I also heard you mentioned Portland. Dame Lillard is rumored to be a part of a ownership group that's reaching to bring the WNBA to Portland too.
That's dope. That's dope. One time for Dame, baby.
Much money has he made in the league with no rings?
Dame time. Hey, man, all in all, I think it'd be dope to get him back, man. It'd be super dope. I also read, we were talking about the money side of things. I thought it was interesting that they went from the Compact Center. I know you remember the Compact Center. Yeah, from the Compact Center over to the Reliant Arena, and then things just. So I don't know.
All that stuff cost so much more money. Even though they didn't play in the Toyota Center, we still look out for them in the Toyota Center. In the Toyota Center, you'll still find that team's been gone for 16 years officially. But those franchise banners, they still hang in the Toyota Center. You got 4 championships from 97 to 2000, and you got 2 jerseys that hang from the Raptors in the Toyota Center, which is something that you typically reserve for players that are, what's the word I'm looking for? Extraordinary.
Yeah.
You retire their jerseys.
Hey, one time for both of them.
All-time greats. On a side note, I met Cynthia Cooper before.
For real?
Yeah, I was.
She seems super cool.
I was bartending one year. I don't remember what year it was, but I can tell you she had showed up to the bar on a date to watch the finals. We were watching the Cavs versus the Warriors with KD on them. So it was one of the 2 years that they were there and had to play the Cavs in the finals.
That's dope.
Yeah. She sat there and watched
Top
the finals.
basketball, yeah, she's a coach now. I think she coached for TSU. If I was reading right, I was trying to find some research on her because I was like, yo, she's a coach.
Well, I just wanted to side note that I would have found out what she's been doing, but she's not the topic. I would love to have her here as an ambassador for it.
That'd be super
and you have
dope.
to think with the success that it showed that Houston would give it. If they don't have it, it's got to be because our ownership group ain't reaching hard enough.
Yeah.
Or Commissioner Engelbert don't like the ownership group, or doesn't agree with their plan for how to proceed.
Come on, Miss Engelbert. Bring it on down to the X. Hold it down one time.
Yeah, let us get it in.